Another season, been and gone. Obviously, last season when you took over at Burton, it was a great escape. This time round, it probably wasn't as dramatic, but you still had your hairy moments. So just pleased to obviously secure League One status again and yeah, survive.
Yeah, I mean the biggest story was the first time we went in and kept them up. We went in at just around Christmas time, and I think they'd only won one game, and then to manage to keep them up with a game to spare that season was like nothing short of a miracle, like you say. But because of how far we came behind, it was a bigger story. Whereas this season, in my own personal opinion, I think it's probably a bigger achievement because if you look at the resources of the teams in this league, if you look at our own resources and the lack of strength in depth, for us to have competed against the teams in League One this season and again retain our League One status with a game to go is phenomenal. And I feel for the players and the club a little bit because it's like the narrative of Burton Albion. Oh, they stayed up again, and it just now just gets brushed under the carpet a little bit. Whereas actually, like I say, it's a phenomenal achievement for what this club's done this season.
Yeah, because obviously we mentioned how you had to pull him out the bottom four last time, but he was always above that line. So I know it might not be a comfortable place when you can still be caught, but did you always feel like there was enough there to survive and hold off any threat?
Well, ironically, I think um, we would have been uh, better than what we've been if it wasn't for Horsfall's challenge on Charlie Webster at home. Because that put Charlie out and he had to have an operation and he was missing for 4 months and he's a wonderful player for us and it's no coincidence on his return we then end the season six unbeaten. Um, and like I say, for someone of our squad depth to miss a player like him, we couldn't really replace in that sense, that quality that he possesses. And he ended up getting, I think it was 8 goals in total, and he missed 4 months of the season from midfield as a fabulous return. And so, you know, it's a case now of we had a difficult January because there's obviously players interest there was interest in some of our players, so we've just got to try and recruit as well as we can and keep hold of our better ones if possible. But reality is, we know that we're going to lose some of our better players because that's just the market.
You mentioned the narrative around Burton is obviously every year they survive, they find a way no matter how. How do you sort of bridge that gap between yourselves and the teams mid-table, just around the playoffs, bottom end of the playoffs? How do you bridge that gap and take the next step?
Well, there's many ways. You can't just put it down to one and say money, and that's the easy answer, isn't it? In that sense, and uh, you need, the club is well documented. They signed 23 players 2 summers ago, and we're still paying for that, if you like, because there was some errors made in that. So it's a case now of making sure what we recruit enhances the team, and if we can, enhance the squad by providing better quality and then in depth.
And just how much are you enjoying being back in now? Obviously, you know,
Oh,
year and a half.
18 months in now, but Amos, 18 months in. The enjoyment's well and truly gone and been sucked out to the life of me. But no, it's, apart from seeing you in the media box at Blackpool when I was doing it with Chizzy, it's a brilliant job. It's got its challenges, and certainly at this club, it's got its challenges. But I love working with the players. I love developing players. I love seeing the players move on and better themselves. And I love the competing. I love going up against the bigger boys and the bigger budgets and trying to pull off some shots, which we've done this season.
You mentioned Blackpool. Obviously, you came back quite a few times in the commentary and everything else. But what was it like being back in the dugout at Bloomfield Road? And on a day where it was the homecoming anniversary. You got a tough hand at Bloomfield Road where you didn't see the stands packed out. So to come back and see it like that as a manager must have been a bit strange and a bit envious of what maybe.
Yeah, it was a surreal day. It really was for me because I loved my time at Blackpool, being the Blackpool manager, like I say, and the success that we had with that squad of players, to get bounce back and get promoted at Wembley in the playoffs was fabulous experience that stays with you for the rest of your life. To then come back as a manager, yeah, it just felt surreal, but it was fabulous to see the people that were still there, from Sarah in the club shop, um, the welcome that you got from, the people around the ground. And then I was delighted it was the anniversary of the homecoming because leading up to that game, a lot of the fans had got a bit disgruntled with the form of the first team, and that sort of game against us brought more fans back into the stadium. So I was buzzing to see the stadium so full because I know firsthand that when I was manager at Blackburn and in the championship against Blackpool, full Bloomfield Road, the noise is unbelievable. So it was great to see the stands full. Yeah, a little bit of jealousy from back in my day when the fans boycotted it. But as I said then, I totally understood it and admired them for sticking to their guns. The only disappointing thing was obviously the result for us in the last minute. But, that was how it was. But yeah, I loved the day, bar that last little minute.
Bloody CJ.
Yes, indeed.
Could you have imagined, obviously, seeing the stadium packed out in that way from your time? Did it ever feel like there was going to be an end to what was going on?
No, my 2 years there, they were, like I say, they were very enjoyable because we were all tight knit, the staff and the players. We quickly developed a no excuses environment, so we weren't going to use that as an excuse for performances, or we quickly said that we just focus on what we can control, and we couldn't control the fans coming back. That was obviously a dispute between the fans and the owners at that time. And like I say, I understood why they did it, and like the way that they stuck to their values on it and their morals was impressive. But I'm just delighted that obviously there's fans back in that stadium now.
And I know for a fact you're most envious of one thing in particular, and that's the pitch from your time. So yeah, it must be infuriating to see how like it's like a carpet now.
Oh, the pitch was magnificent. I remember my first stint on radio with Chiz, and as I went to sign in, you get your card, and then I walked. He was coming down to meet me, and I turned to Chizzy and I said, "What's that green stuff on that pitch there? What's that green stuff?" When we played, it was good clay, real good clay. But no, full credit to the ground staff there. The pitch is magnificent. One of the best in the division. It was just a shame on that particular day. The wind caused havoc, didn't it? And it wasn't a particularly good game at all.
And just finally, I want to touch on a player who you handed a debut to, David Raya, who's going for a title and he's in a Champions League final. Could you foresee? I know it's hard to say with such a young player, but could you foresee the journey quite that he's been on?
No, not when we gave him his debut at 19. I can remember he should have done better with the one of the goals against Wolves, but no, I knew him from 16 years of age when he was coming over from Spain. Wonderful technician with his feet. He could play outfield. His feet are that good. And he just wanted to learn and want to get better. Fabulous mentality, character, great person. The amount of effort he put into learning English when he first arrived was unbelievable for him. But it just showed you the work ethic that he had. delighted to see where he's got to and now how far he's kicked on. And, like you say, in another, what, 25 days, he might be a double winner of Premier League and Champions League. And that's phenomenal.
Yeah, even though you might not predict the exact journey you go on, but was there always something about him, for you to give
Yeah,
him?
that's what I mean. I gave him his debut at 19 years of age, so it tells you, what I felt about him as a goalkeeper. He worked very hard with the goalkeeper coach, John Keeley, at the time as well. Um, and he'd earned the right to start in goal. He had a bit of a dip, and as a young goalkeeper was, and we knew that was going to happen. But yeah, you knew he was a talent, and he had the talent.
Yeah, obviously moving over to England as a teenager, that's a big challenge in itself. I mean, he went on loan to Southport in non-league, another challenge. So he's done it the hard way around, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, if you look at those two examples that you just used, that's brilliant character building for him. I mean, to move over, like you say, so soon, different country, and the way that he adapted and coped with, like I say, learning a new language, playing a different style of football, different environment, is an enormous credit to him, and that's why he's managed to play at that top level because of his mentality.